Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. I think now we're in part 7 of this beginner WordPress tutorial series for people in 2020 who are trying to get started with WordPress. Today what we're going to do is we're going to work a little bit on the customizer screen for after you install a theme. I just wanted to talk a little bit about how to use this because you're going to end up using it quite a bit when you have custom themes installed. And last time we left off, we kind of had this flower theme that I liked because it kind of looked like this one here, and I'm sure we could get it to look like it if we just played around with it, but I think I'm going to switch back to something a little more simple just to give you a better view or a better idea of how the customizer works. So I think I'm going to switch back to that other one we were using before, this Stranger WP. I kind of like it. It seems like it's going to be more straightforward and kind of showing a pretty good example of using the customizer. So in this Stranger WP theme, it really wants us to use the customizer, which is great because that's what I want to show you. And it looks like last time I said I didn't know why that other one installed with it. It has two versions that it came with. One is a pro theme, which it's going to want you to upgrade to use all these features. So in this case, we're just going to stick with the ones features we can access, which is just to get an overview of the customizer. So if we go back to the customizer, this is going to save you a lot of time for somebody that doesn't understand programming at all. So in this case, there's, like I said, the ability to do menu. You see all these little edit buttons? This allows you to change this kind of stuff. So in this particular case, we have the customizer is kind of cool because it lets you do a couple different things. First, if you take a look at the bottom here, it has different views. So it shows you what it looks like on a computer, on a tablet, and then down to a phone size, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of check out what your site looks like on all three. It's extremely important, obviously, today. I think it could even be above 50% now. I know that from everything I've done, it's well over 50% usually. Usually in the 60 to 65% range of everybody coming to your site is going to be on a cell phone or a tablet, but usually it's a cell phone. So the way it looks on this is extremely important. And I mean, you really should make sure it's good across all devices, but cell phones are really important. So let's just start with editing the site and going from top to bottom. So in the header, that's going to be your site identity. You're going to notice there's a bunch of little sidebars over here that are little buttons that let you go deeper into certain information. So like in site identity, this is going to be your logo, your site title, your tagline, this kind of stuff. And when we get into our SEO part of this, this is actually going to be managed through all-in-one SEO. You can do it at the site level or you can do it at the all-in-one SEO level. I guess you'd still have to do it here for it to display in here properly, but where it actually shows in your bar up top and how it looks to search engines will look different based on what we do in all-in-one SEO. So here it's pretty easy, straightforward. A site first is the logo, right? You can actually replace this with a logo, and you would just upload that here. You just select it, drop it in, and then it would show it at the top. And as you can see, it gives you actually a suggested dimension for your logo. This is so that it looks good across all the devices. That's usually why it's giving you that. And so the site title is obvious. We could change this to anything. We could say Bob's New Flowers, and it would change just like that. And we could change this to whatever we want as well. Let's just say new flowers all day, every day. All right. So that's pretty easy, right? And then you can display them and non-display them. So you could just have a straight menu across the top, or you could do this. And then the site icon. So the site icon is just this up here, what it shows. Right now it's showing just the XAMPP icon because we're using XAMPP. But if it was in a browser, it would usually show the WordPress icon by default because that's what is installed, or it wouldn't have an icon. So that's really it for your site identity. And also, by the way, in some themes, in some customizers, it will actually have an advanced tab as well, which lets you get down to editing the CSS and all that, which is your cascading styles. It's actually what turns everything different colors and moves stuff around and decides like what font this is and all that. And so sometimes, like I said, it gets more complicated when you have an advanced one. But in this particular theme, we just have a basic editor. So now it has theme options, and this is about your menus. You can decide if it's, and this is really specific to this theme. Every one will have kind of its own. So like the menu style, like when you scroll, it follows you. That's a sticky menu. A static menu, I believe, will just stay up top, and so it won't follow you the same way. So that's pretty simple. And so it says the blog. These are just general. It's asking you for how you want your layout. So in this particular case, say that we wanted the page to be full layout and we did not want a sidebar. See, in this particular theme, it's showing the blue as your sidebar and it's showing this as your body content. So let's say that we wanted no sidebar. We would select the page like this, and this is going to disappear. Or it should. Maybe that was in the archive blog post. Let's say a single page. Oh, I guess this is just talking about blogs. We'll have to change it at the page level. But anyway, that's really what that was anyway. It's gonna, so this is actually saying in blogs, when people go to your blog post, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna have no sidebar. As far as the customizer goes, it has, let's see, it has the page editor. Like I said to you at the top, you can change your colors. All this kind of stuff is accessible to you through the customizer, and it will be slightly different in each theme. The footer's the same thing. It's going to ask you if you want footer widgets or not. Let's say I disable them, and so now we just have a straight bottom footer that has all this information, which I'm sure we can change. Yeah, in fact, it's right here. So by default, this is all the stuff that's linking to the who built the theme and all that, and if you don't like that, you can just take it out. And so back out here, typography is just your font and what each one is and what size it is and all that. And so like the base typography is what your base type font is. These are all pulled from Google Fonts. Well, the top ones are just standard web fonts, but the bottoms are all pulled from Google Fonts. So let's say we wanted to change the whole thing to this kind. Maybe we don't have it enabled. That's why. There we go. So now it's been changed. I had to enable the typography. So let's go for something a little bit different, like see what that Aladdin look like. Okay, there you go. See, so it's more, the font changes. It's almost not even readable now because it's too small, which we can change that up as well. Let's go for 2. Okay, that's much better. So, I mean, it's not a lot better, but it definitely changes it quite a bit. So colors, obviously, it's asking you for your header text color. That's all this text up here. We want it in black, but say we wanted it red. You can change it to red pretty easily. A lot of this is pretty straightforward stuff. And all I'm trying to show you is that you can play around with these settings, and you really can't mess up, especially the way that we set this up on a local host. There's really not a lot for you to mess up here. And you can kind of play with stuff. Background image is the background image behind your whole website. Menus is menu locations. Obviously, this is a menu here, and back in our back end of our website, I don't know if you remember, we had the ability to create a menu and then make it a primary menu. I told you could put it in different slots. Different themes would have different places for you to put menus. So let's just call this our main menu. And now it's going to ask me to create some items. So that's going to be this top menu now. And let's say we add an item, and we call it, yeah, home page. Let's just include this in our menu. So it's going to add it over here. And let's say custom, or let's just say about us. I'm just trying to give an example. So now it's going to add an about us. Okay, so now we have a couple links, right? We'd actually make this a page, but that's essentially what you need to know about the menus in this. Widgets, kind of what we talked about. You have a sidebar widget area, and you can get rid of it as well. In this case, we have recent posts and comments, but I think, I don't know if you can drag them out in here. You could just have to hit remove. And it doesn't actually remove the widget area. Oh, and I guess in this theme it does. So in this theme, when you remove the widgets in the area, it actually makes it full width by default. So now our site is full width. So good, we're getting a little closer. And then we have our homepage settings. This is specific to the theme as well. I know that in this case, remember we selected a static page, and we selected that homepage that we built as our static page. And as you build more pages in WordPress, you can select any of them to be your homepage. But the nice thing about having a home is you can edit it, and you always know that it's your homepage. And like I said, you can create different home pages if you want and switch them around, but oftentimes it's so much better and it's so much cleaner just to name one page homepage and always use that one as your homepage. And you can put blog rolls on it and all kinds of stuff. And then additional CSS, you're probably not going to get into this yet unless you are more experienced with cascading style sheets, creating styles, like changing what the colors are by default, or adding custom all kinds of custom styles to your WordPress theme. You would do it right here, which is kind of cool because you can override a lot of stuff that they set by default. So that's pretty much the overview of the customizer. And like I said, each theme that you download will have different features available in its customizer. Like Divi, for example, has its own customizer. It's actually this kind of feature, but it has all Divi stuff in it. And that's specific to that theme. So this one that we built here, and by the way, at the end you have to hit publish for it to become live. So if we went back out on the front, here's what it originally looked like when we just started. And if we refresh this, it looks completely different. Font and everything. So, and I even kept the menu sticky. So that's pretty much it for the customizer, and as far as how you use it in WordPress, and you hit the X button to go back to the dashboard. And that's about it. Every theme, like I said, you have, well, you probably end up using a combo of the customizer and its own internal options, but you can pretty much set everything you need to set about your site, from the icon in your bar to your logo to your menu positioning to your widgets to your fonts to your colors to everything. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for part 7 of this tutorial about using the customizer in WordPress. As usual, hit the bell, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. And I look forward to seeing you guys in part 8.